Part 5. Cosmic Multi-Orgasm. Ordinary people experience orgasms in the Muladhara chakra during mechanical intercourse, and occasionally in the Svadhisthana chakra during passionate intercourse. Tantra practitioners can experience euphoria in any chakra or all of them simultaneously. To achieve this, during the act of Mithuna, they concentrate on a specific chakra, directing the energy there and gradually raising it higher. Concentration is crucial in this process. If the goal is to raise the energy of the Anahata chakra, one should concentrate on Anahata and feel the energy ascending. Visualizing the energy moving upwards can be helpful if it aids in the process. We should feel the energy moving and as if we are drawing it upwards. Alternatively, we can focus on our breath, but the key is to direct this movement and feel the energy shifting. This can be challenging because no one ever taught us this, and it is not commonly discussed. Typically, sexual energy naturally flows downward because that's what most people do without thinking. However, it is possible to learn to control this energy, and with effort and practice, individuals can develop this ability. The core principle of tantric practices is the mastery of sexual energy. Because this energy naturally wants to discharge, but we don't allow it to do so. Instead, we start directing it towards the goals we desire. A person can achieve the goals of Tantra by constantly making efforts in their development. This ancient meaning is now forgotten due to societal propaganda that portrays sex as something bad and taboo. However, when sexual energy exits the body through activities like orgasm in the genital area or through harmful actions such as hysteria, psychopathy, negative thoughts, or unhealthy habits, all the vivid experiences immediately come to an end, and life becomes dull and ordinary. That's why tantrics have accumulated knowledge over centuries on how to transform life into pleasure, make it divine and harmonious, and multiply sexual energy to maintain well-being throughout the year. This knowledge was a lifelong practice, encompassing various aspects of life, including how to breathe correctly, eat, rest, walk, and work. In such societies, there were no wars, conflicts, corruption, or theft. It's from those times that ancient temples like Khajuraho have been preserved. In such places, enlightened masters like Krishna, Rama, and many others lived. But in our time, from childhood, people have never seen or heard anything about how sexual energy can be channeled except by realizing it through an orgasm. In all movies, books, and other sources, we often see the orgasm is portrayed as the only way to experience intense sexual pleasure. If a person decides to accumulate energy, then from all sides, peers and even the medical community start to push the person towards societal life patterns. By scaring people with genitourinary diseases and other myths that have no basis and are simply axioms of ignorant individuals. No one knows that when sexual energy begins to fill up and strengthen the entire being of a person through a healthy lifestyle, special dances, and breathing practices, as well as proper thinking, a person can experience states that are hundreds of times deeper and more ecstatic. Through the accumulation of sexual energy, a person can rejuvenate and return to a youthful state, similar to when their sexual center first awakened. However, these experiences, as well as profound feelings, cannot occur without specific knowledge and some effort on the individual's part in their own personal development. Orgasm is accessible to everyone without much effort because, without it, species in nature wouldn't strive for reproduction and would become extinct. But if a person wants to evolve beyond the level of animals in their personal development, they need to seek out special knowledge, learn it, and start practicing it. This knowledge is directly related to one's entire life and will make it very inspiring, vibrant, fulfilling, and successful. In ancient times, when people didn't have fire, they consumed raw meat from wild animals. However, with the advent of culture, humans learned to cook food over a fire, and the food became hundreds of times tastier. The same food, the same piece of meat, when eaten raw or prepared over a fire with spices, can provide a person with radically different experiences. The sexual energy of a person is like that piece of meat. When a person sees a sexual image or feels pleasant sensations in the body, when sexual energy has built up in the genital area, sexual desire arises. A person can either quickly satisfy that desire without any effort or experience much more beautiful and profound feelings of ecstasy and bliss. To experience these deep sexual sensations, one needs to acquire knowledge and the ability to apply it in life. The taste of these experiences cannot be compared to the sensations of a regular orgasm, much like if a person decided to eat a raw piece of meat instead of meat prepared by a skilled chef. Sexual experiences obtained from vivid tantric states can transform a person significantly, making them more creative, spontaneous, magnetic, and their desires tend to manifest quickly. In order to learn how to cultivate one's sexual energy, a person must change their entire life. Every action, such as sleep, eating, breathing, work, creativity, and more, requires knowledge of how to do it correctly so that sexual energy is constantly accumulated within them. However, from childhood, people haven't learned about themselves and don't know how their thinking, imagination, psyche, and even their physical body work. Without knowing how to live in their own pleasure, a person's life becomes dull and difficult. When sexual energy begins to accumulate correctly within a person and is directed towards their development, they become attractive, beautiful, young, and vibrant. This happens because sexual energy is similar to water. When it is used to nurture a flower, it begins to transform it. Every action becomes a source of pleasure and vivid experiences for such a person. Good luck accompanies them in everything, and difficulties cease to exist. However, a sexually fulfilled and happy, harmonious person becomes a threat to a society of people living in an oppressed, gray, and unhealthy state. A happy person questions the entire structure of a society in which suffering and problems thrive. That's why when we see sexual imagery in ancient temples or erotic dances, we may feel discomfort within us. This discomfort is caused by upbringing, where sexual desire or sensation was prohibited. For example, when a child's eyes were covered during sexual scenes, this action ingrained in the child's mind that sex is something forbidden, when everything that is forbidden automatically becomes an object of desire.
Qu'est-ce que...
Instead of explaining everything to a person from a young age and teaching them about Tantra, just like teaching a child to cook, the topic of sex has been placed under prohibition. Therefore, when sexual scenes or erotic phenomena arise in a person's life, there is a mix of pleasant sensations with discomfort in their psyche. And because of this, one slowly goes crazy. But all of these are just indicators that a person has no knowledge about sex. And by gaining this knowledge, their life will change just as ancient people's life did when learned to make fire and cook food over a campfire, living in warmth. Today, the great knowledge of Tantra is available to anyone who seeks it. So let it become accessible to you as well and transform your life for the better, completely renewing you. However, you should know that this is not an easy path. There are certain difficulties along the way. But just as climbing a mountain can be challenging for a person, with every small step in your development, you will gain happiness, health, and success in life. And at the summit, boundless beauty, breathtaking views of the surroundings, joy, celebration, and freedom await you. May luck be with you on this path. Om.